you can all hear me. You sound okay? Great. So, welcome to another expert talk with Adil Tyguan. As you can see, I have a special guest here, my niece, Dimitra, and just watching what's going down here. So, we are going to have an expert talk by a member of the Creative Classroom group, Adil Tyguan from Turkey. He's a Turkish ambassador. I suppose that most of you know him because he's really active in the eTwinning community. And he's going to talk to us about a very interesting topic on games, learning to game and gaming to learn. So I'm all ears and I'm very interested in the topic. I just had a glimpse to the slides and it looks really promising and very interesting. So thank you for being here tonight with us and for organizing this expert talk. And the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. I'm really excited to be here and feeling great because it will be my first big webinar, thanks to eTwinning. First, I'd like to talk about this webinar, how we just arrange it. We just arranged this webinar in Brussels. We had a meeting there with the members of the Creative Classroom, and then just present my presentation in Brussels because of some mishaps. So then we decided to have it here and with more teachers, actually. And thank you, Irene, and welcome. I hope my voice is okay and be heard. Great. Our topic today is learning to game and gaming to learn. Before Irene told about me in a good way, and I'm an eTwinning ambassador, and actually, and apart from that, I am a member of EU Codec. I'm the ambassador. Involved in all European projects, and also to just heal myself with other that might be interested and helpful for other teachers as well. And you see my email and Twitter account here, and you can have a question or any topic. Just get in touch with me. It will be more. And we'll find a definition about the game, and then do students learn from the games, actually, but they could be traditional video or digital games, and define what is hard fun. That is a relatively new term for game-based learning, hard fun. What we mean for teaching. And the second part, we will go a bit more deeper and the components and principles of game-based learning. And again, first of all, I'd like to start up my webinar with a question, actually 2 questions. And have you ever played a computer game, or could be a traditional one? When did you learn anything specific by playing that game? For that, I have just I created a Padlet for you. So the Padlet here. If you just go there, please write your answers to. Just do it right away, but we have time, so we can evaluate later or after the webinar. So have you ever played a computer game? And what's the name? How did you learn from that game? Then we will go over your answers. We will just try to find the teaching value of the game, actually. So see, thank you, Irene. You can see the links on us as well. And with what is in there can be a lot of I'm sorry, I'm a bit excited, but it will be over in moments. Yeah, so game in a basic definition are digital or traditional, a physical or mental activity, or that has rules and it's for pleasure. But before games were, we were all playing games for before just without realizing that we learned something. But when we were just children, we played games actually for pleasure or having a good time with friends or alone. And if a kid won, played and decided by skill, strength, and luck. So if you could look at the game here, the green circle. So a game has rules. That's just the frame of a game, the board frame, and it has luck. Well, we are in something that we need some anyway, and then we need strength. So it especially goes with additional games, and all have rewards. It could be a level up, or a cup, or just getting into a top list. And games have skills, and really video games just teach us how to use the keyboard very well. And pleasure, of course, we just play games to have a good time or just as our free time and it is also a competition. So a game is a physical or mental activity or a contest which has rules. And we play games either for pleasure or just to learn something. So there is a basic definition here again. Games students are doing explicitly. Explicitly means openly and socially. So games are socially they can teach us some social skills, and as adults they will do tacitly. Tacitly means wordlessly. So for playing just a word. Personally, games can be played alone and also collaboratively with friends. And so that red sentence here, the sentence is important. What as adults they will do. Actually, just remember your childhood. We played games. We adopted to save the world, and we became parents. And even they have a function that they prepare for our adulthood, really. And so students just live their adult lives with playing games. The is not something newly. When I just researched, I'm really shocked. And this issue was first brought up by Plato 2,500 years ago in his Republic. It's one of the books by Plato. At that time, he used games just to give some to slow the children learning, or even with adults he used it and got really very good. When I read the investigations, when I read he has accomplished, it was really amazing. So you can just check Plato's Republic, how he used games to children who are with disabilities. And children, as you know, love to play all kinds of games, and to be board games, card games. and then computer games, console games, outdoor games, and often make up their own rules. And this is something that creatively thinking actually. So they their own rules, similar to the games, or a bit different. So they use their imagination and creative with that. And have children think strategically, creatively, and develop social skills such as following rules, playing with others, and taking turns. And so, as you can see, you know, most times parents just prohibit their students or children just to play a lot of game, but they know that this game will be lifesaver in the future for the children, maybe. And many games also incorporate specific learning skills and numbers, colors, shapes, and that could be for and just think that a student who is just learning a foreign language in his early years. So this help them to practice them. So of course, learning and that's on children. Two important things as well. Engage function create bonding. Family bonding means bring all family members together for a cause. Just imagine that on a Friday night or Saturday night, all family are together and you're playing a game, it's a traditional or a digital game with your children. And that will bring a sense of a spirit of unity in the family with children and parents. Also, they have a action to create tradition building as well. And in tradition building, just a group of and instead of just always outside at a cafe or somewhere, you just get together at one to play a game on certain intervals. Then that could be tradition as well. So the games have the function of unity with the family and with the natural community as well. And we just go a bit more deeper, and the learner is Ski and PJ also emphasize that. Also emphasize the importance of the games in the development of abstract imaginative thinking of the children for realization of goals children not achieve in real life. It's a really, again, very interesting explanation by them. And imaginative, I'm just if abstract imaginative thinking is very important for a child's development pedagogically as well. So just remember, 4-year-old, if he cannot ride a horse properly with education as well, but by playing game, a child or even anyone who just wants to ride a horse, but he can just realize his dreams or his wishes by playing games as well. And by playing that game, he can learn a lot of certain skills, like direct horse with a game, or how to settle up the horse, or stop it, and how to say it go. But in games, it can be done by consumer, but even you can just go a bit more further and think a child equipment can also use and pretend it is a horse, and you can also ride by pretending it's riding. and it also helps children to do abstract thinking. That is another important function in education. A little bit more short. By playing games, students learn free time creatively. So it's just sitting and doing without anything. They can play games to have fun. And they can develop skills, computer skills, foreign language skills, technical skills, and develop critical thinking by solving and doing some specific tasks in the friends. Now, well, we all know that most of the games have online versions, and by that games they can create their own community and so make new friends with that, and they can solve problems and gain self-confidence, level up, and each other in a positive way most of the time, and they can like practice school subjects. You know, most of the games are especially online. One we will talk about them in our slides later on. And they practice subjects and the skills and imagination. That is the most important here. Depict real life situations for their future lives. Here I have a question for you, dear. It should be a limited time for students to play, or they should be all whenever they want to play the game, and why? And another question that you should please put on the Padlet. There should be a limited time or a specific time for a child to play a game, and why? I'm just seeing there are some answers on the chat box. It depends on the age of the child. Yes, actually, and also of course games are teaching. They have another real life as well. So if you get your children socialized in it, then games can help. But I should have some limit maybe. So if I get your answers to this question, it will be great as well. And what is hard fun? Definition. Something hard and it is something fun. So what that means in or in with a game, you have to be careful about it has also some challenging aspects and also should entertain the player. So if it's challenging, as say in the drawing I've just created, and it's hard, the student should be seeking answers to challenge, actively engage in doing think questioning. That is the challenging part of a game. And the fun part of a game, we play to have fun. It consists of creativity. He should add something from himself and play it freely, and have also some playfulness in it, as I just told, some pleasure in it. It just brought two together, hard and fun. Then we get hard fun. Then educational game should be a hard fun game. It should have pleasing. It should have pleasing features. It should also have challenging and values. When I talk to my younger students weeks while preparing this presentation, and what game they play and why. And most young students told that they were playing Minecraft. And most of the students said that it's very challenging, but it's also fun because while playing that game, they can create, and it helps them to increase their foreign language learning and their vocabulary treasure in a language, and they have fun. And they told me that it's a skill builder because in that game you have to create your own tools by yourself. And do you think that Minecraft, I have a lot of discussions about Minecraft, if it's educational or not, but the people just say it is only a small number of people are just opposing because of its they have some violence in it and maybe some in it. But most parents and they say that, and also students say that Minecraft is educational. And if you could please go to Minecraft Educational Survey .org. You can just, if you want to make a survey about something, you can go and create your own survey and make it, and anybody can make it negative or positive. So if you could please go to debate and say yes or no to the question, oh, Minecraft educational. You see that most of you are really agreed about that. So just educational. And trying to open the link here. So you will see here. Yes, almost 30% of the voters say educational, and only 2% say no, and some people just say that they are why yes or no. And you could please click on yes if you say it's click on no, please. So later we can just make up what we think about that, if it's no or not. But as I just get from my students, it's totally said. And recently there has been a discussion in Turkey about Minecraft. So the Ministry of National Education it has some violence seen in it, and it's for the students. But it's up to parents to know teachers just to read to their children or not. I think Minecraft is a hard fun game, teaching and challenging. Explanation, I hope, about hard fun. So we choose games for your students. Just please pay attention if it's educational and challenging, fun features within. Things mean for we talk about games and the digital games and pedagogical effects of games on students, and what games mean in teaching and why digital games. So we will discuss about that topic for a while now. So Oh, thanks. I thought, especially Minecraft has a very effective way to teaching students the vocabulary, because if they understand the vocabulary, then they cannot proceed the game. So I agree with you, and thank you. And what is digital game-based learning? So according to Mark Presky, he's also one of the prominent learning theorists in our century. He said students have changed radically. Just see that they have changed, because if we talk our lives, our, our students' lives, we can see a lot of difference very. And today, students are the people our educational system was designed to teach. Yes. In sentence, I hope as innovative teachers, we all agree with that, because in the 18th, 19th century until maybe the 20th century, in schools, mostly had stand and deliver learning or teaching to students, and the teacher was the center of the education, and the students were listening and they were answering the questions when they were permitted. But it's not like that anymore. So technology, and we have technological tools, and of course spacious and modern classes now. And when change our lives as well, and it changed also students' lives too. So we cannot just pass, because always passing, and have incrementally. In the past, yes, they have changed. In the years, you get a class in the half of the 20th century, and you can see a class in the 21st century. So you distinct a very clear distinction among and compare them very, very clearly. Yes, I can. Okay, and technology changed, and it changed the social life, it changed the workforce, and it changed also education. And a real discontinuity has discontinuity means something that does not continue forever. It continues for a while, and then something new pops up and replaces it and changes us. And this is singularity. I think singularity is the most important word for the living here, because we, as has seen a lot of singularities, and we are, as teachers, very lucky. We are teachers. We know how education system, how 21st century learning teaching is now. So we are very lucky just to live in the middle of this singularity. And simple definition, singularity means an event which changes things so fundamentally that there's absolutely no going back. So something created in our century, something created this singularity. So I have another question to you. So you can write your answers in the chat box, please. Started in the last period of 20th century, kept evolving and created a singularity. So I have given you two capitals as a clue. What is it that we are living now? That could be what the answer is, and what could be. Could that be internet technology, of course? So with internet technology, we are all connected, and we are connected to the teacher, the That's great, Georgia. And, and so thanks to internet and the developments in the internet technology and information technology, we now have ICT and 2.0 tools around, and they facilitate our teaching and learning in our classes. So this is singularity also forces us to so a bit deeper with today's students represent the first generation to grow up with this technology, and that technology is called technology or information technology. And now we need another reason why we should make a shift and add games or technology to our classes. And they have spent their entire lives now surrounded by technology like computers, video games, digital music players, video games, phones, and all other toys. Now we also have all these toys as well, and they are, so I just include ourselves too, and inevitable parts of our lives. So if we have the internet now, and we have the computers, then it would not be possible for us to have a webinar like that, really. And to average college grad, that is very, according to, I just come up with this facts. Why about this topic? College grads have less than 5,000 hours of their lives reading. Technology just develops, so the rate of the reading decreases, but over 10,000 hours playing. That is another very important reason. We use games in our either a warm-up or a follow-up, or just create some flip classroom activities with games, really. For that is so with games or in our teachings. So 21st century and 20th century education actually academic achievements. So if you can just pay attention to the just mark here. So 21st century learning is close to games learning because it has visual and information literacies, and games has it, they have it, and collaboration and personal skills. So games, students can really create interpersonal and interactive communications, and in most of the online games now, students can connect with each other from not only in their country but across the globe. And curiosity, creativity, and rethinking, and order of thinking, because for games you develop critical thinking as well. And also we have effective use of real world tools like computers, tablets, and interactive whiteboards, and able to produce relevant, high quality products. It also, students now have a lot of opportunity their own games, and there are sites that providing that for students. So when we look at the 21st century learning, that brings us to a point that we should learning in our course, and also it will also work with the students who are not really who don't want to work seriously. That could be also another for the teacher. we need the students do not want to listen to the teacher all the time, and they want to create their own learning by themselves. And I will talk about a very specific thing, also about my students. And when I ask my students, how do you learn? Well, and most of the students just told me that they learn by doing things. So another important feature of the 21st century learning by doing, it's important. And that's the reason why we should use games in our topics. What is the difference between gamification and game-based learning? So they look really related to each other, but have some differences. So another question for you before you go to the link and see what really gamification and game-based learning is. So in the yellow circle, I see two words: practice and process. So which one is game-based learning? Box, if you can. Practice game-based learning, practice process. Has an idea? Learning is a process and gamification is a practice. Gamification is practice, and from Sandra, game is a process. I get from Lucia. Is a process. But gamification actually is practice by Maria. Thank you. Actually, the correct answer here is gamification. Practice by and I can't wait to give the answers now. Both of them. All right. Thank you. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is actually gamification is a process. So gamification is the process of creating a game. Why? If it's an educational game, you can just put some elements of education or a specific topic in it. But when the students or these games, practice. So game-based learning is the practice when students use these games for a specific purpose. So who got the right answer? I couldn't follow all really. So gamification is a process of taking a game, adding some educational values or a specific topic in it. And game-based learning is the practice. So you practice these games to learn things. You can get a very clear explanation from the YouTube video. You can watch it, and it's a short one. Get ideas about it. So we have a really limited time, and I want to proceed to the next slide. So gamification is the process of creating a game, and is a practice game to learn something or just acquire some skills. So thank you, Rini, for the link. You can see the link in and to get a clearer idea about the distinction between them. I'm sorry. And game-based learning. based learning is an instructional method. The method is the way the information is presented to the people, and it has two very two elements of instructional method. I see from teacher to students, and from students to students. It could be. So that was the most used method in our schools before, but started to get old. So methods, so the information teacher-centered or centered, that operates. This is learning based. It means you just add some educational content. I'm just trying to make it a bit more simple, the definition. You just add some educational content in video games for a specific purpose. And our specific purpose is here engaging learning, learning to the topic they are covering. And applications of digital game-based learning draw upon constructivist theory. And constructivist theory is more inquiry-based learning. In constructivist theory, the creates his own learning from experiences by doing things, and then reflects and uses her learnings. So in constructivist theory, the learner is an information or non-constructor. So digital game-based learning has two important elements: instructional methods and constructivist. So learning, so students play and make their own learning, like in Minecraft. And it was a bit more clear explanation. Additional content with computer video games in all subjects and skill levels. So a very basic level to a very advanced one. It is learning opportunities that engage students in interactive instruction and helps prepare them to participate in the globalized technology. So in the coming slides, we will be talking about systemic games, and they're really important that are playing games because they prepare them for their careers. And the aim of these methods is to prepare learners to the 21st century technological globalized society. Of course, there's digital game-based learning. Learning involves activities that can range from completing that we talked about it in previous slide. We said that could be basic, this could be basic, and they could be advanced as well. And tasks to the development of intricate problem solving. So it helps students, but they do it with games and then they reflect it to problems. And the games can be categorized as action, adventure, fighting, puzzle, and role-playing. Sports games. So games is called the intricate problem solving, actually. Information, that is very important for us. And what you should just take into account when selecting games. Students' age, characteristics, gender, competitive gaming experience, because if the student's first time to the game or this game, then it takes to get used to it. And touch age level, because there is every age and needs. If we have special needs students in our classroom, so they wait at a corner and other way, or just they will be active. So, I think we should. It would be nice to choose and first, just bring all the class together, and then their teams. A teacher can build some teams and just especially students among them, that they wouldn't be left out anymore. And real diversity in its choice of characters, language, or the game offend or slightly any particular group of students. So game before all, it shouldn't be, shouldn't have some distinction in it, either light or more. So it should address to everybody in the class. And number of players, how many students can play at one time. If too many, we sitting their hands, so doing nothing. So to this again, if we have few tools, so teamwork also the best option, then no one will be waiting, or not many students will be waiting, only they will be waiting for their turns within their teams. If they don't, if all have the equipment. The teacher will be a passive observer, just watch students, or an active participant. I think at the first stages of the play, it's for the teacher to be some shy students or competent students there could be in the classroom. So at the first stage or introductory level of the game, then the participant of the game, active participant. Okay, welcome. And additionally, teachers should consider whether the game will cause too much competitiveness, and this is very important. If the game has a lot of competitiveness in it, it could just some in the classroom, then students or they do whatever it is just to win the game. So there shouldn't be so much competitiveness in the game while playing. And there are few factors necessary for game-based learning. For games must be learning and engage at a high level. If it's a very, very easy game, and the students will just maybe it. And if it's difficult, also could bring out some annoying, desirable things. So to an engagement at a high level, the level of the game, it should be a hard-flying game. Students entertaining and engaging, so it increase the engagement of the students to the important components of a strong game-based learning. So every game has rules, but in the class, teachers can take some precautions or rules, create a positive atmosphere in the classroom. Uh, I will just give you a list of the games. Just slides. I will get some suggestions from there. Here, outcome. So we should also give feedback to the after it's over or while they are playing. So the students will feel that somebody is watching them and they should their best. And the positive feedback, as usual, is very important for the students. And the students should have an interactive role. Not, and this is important again. You when students play a game, they don't see anybody around them. They are just so focused in the game that they are in most of the time. And have not only game, but also with other students. So there can be some interaction with the team playing in the classroom or with the if they're individually. There could be some interaction too. This will make more effective for them. So we'll be talking about the benefits of digital game-based learning now, and the potential to engage and motivate students. And we already mentioned about that. Promote long-term memory. You know, when we learn things, or when we just learn things well, so we never forget it actually. So that long-term memory they create. And provide practical experience, so automatic skills. And games, mostly we should choose non-violent games to facilitate planning, problem solving, relate to the curriculum. And yes, Kahoot. Kahoot is a quiz tool actually, but it's very entertaining. And it has another tool that is instead of Kahoot is this. So you can see the questions on there as well. Quizzes, if you can please note it. They will like it as well. And role-playing simulation and adventure games often appeal to development of more than just one skill, like role-playing games. And there is Second Life, that was a game, mostly like teenagers. And I heard about Second Life. It's a role-playing game and simulation game. You can be anyone you want. Just wish about yourself. Development of vocabulary in Minecraft. The mental quickness. So the students, while playing the game, the students have to think quite quickly to do the tasks, and it will just be a habit for them. Benefits: have students set and work towards achieving goals, provide helpful feedback, and you can use games in flipped classroom method, and provide helpful feedback. Develop technologically, they can just improve their computer skills, learning, and learn, and children like to learn playing. And participants to challenge new topics of knowledge. Yes, they can be just curious about some aspects in the game they just across, and have students develop their computer skills, as we mentioned before. And game-based learning. So you can use that game. They are all free, but only them have some. They require account and fun brain and it's price And nets, they are web-based. We will see a bit later. And shortly, they are called coast games. You can buy this game. So in sale, civilization, 3 before high school students, carries Age of Empires, whatever, and Sims and Tycoon are, so you can just get a lot more information about when you go to faculty.org. This link, you have idea about commercial also of the codes games. And also there are modes. The game with all, so the game developers can some other types of the games, and they are called Aurora, Well-Editor, Unreal Engine, and Sage, Again, and GTA, and more games. Also, you can have more information about these games in the link and the presentation, so you don't have to worry about the links. And history, about history games designed for education, assessment features, why invented. So you can find very interesting historical games here. And these games, series games, are more educational games. And education, government, health, response, science, very, very diverse topics here. So if you go to thisgames.org, you have a lot of information about that that kind of game, those kind of games as well. So here are the links that students go and create their own games. So when we share this presentation, I'm sure you will have a lot of free time just to go over this link and choose the games for your students. Recent games. So now there is a trend called esports, low and teenagers play this game recently. So it has team spirit, career opportunities, critical thinking, computer skills, and another game called Dota, Defense of the Ancients. It deals with strategy, differentiated skills, and teamwork. And so that it has positive influence on students' writing and math test scores. And World of Warcraft, it's good for learning foreign language or practicing foreign languages, and physical education teachers can also use this game, Dance Dance Revolution. It's really interactive. And Game Learning Society, a collaborative place for educators and researchers, and game-based learning approach teaching. So you can also get information when you go to gameslearningsociety.com. So I'm being quick because I have only a minute left. Sorry. And here in this presentation, you can see the links of the that you can use with your classes. Games Learning Society series games, where we have told about them in our previous. So we have epistemic games. They are more relevant for high school students. And in epistemic games, their future careers. And let me read the definition. Epistemic games are computer games that are essentially about learning to think in innovative ways. So designed to be pedagogical of the digital age, age, the players learn to think like professionals here. Role games mostly, or scientific games there. And they just play these games in like professions. They could be lawyers, stockbrokers, scientists, teachers, whatever, to prepare themselves for their future career. And you can see the examples of epistemic games here. So the constructor, Sim School, me, and World of Warcraft. They can be the best examples of epistemic games for all the students. And game-based learning. So everything has some advantages and disadvantages as well. And not all games are effective nor educational. We should be careful about that. And it will be a bit hard to find a reliable and practical rubric to assess the games. So assessment, suitable games is difficult, and keep up with the latest games is difficult because you have to just be on the search to find the right game for your students, and sometimes it may take time. And I have insights to suggest you, and the games you will see here are used for warm-up, follow-up, or create a feedback. So we ask kids. It's a great site for students. It could be for primary, secondary students. So you can find the games in a very school topics. And Brain, a site that I always use with my youngest students. And Zondo, you can classroom, create games, and play private games. And that's abcyoung.com. Again, includes all topics and K1 to 5 classes. And that is one of the sites also I use with the games and to the end, and also class crafts. So the teacher, so the craft where you can create your classroom and just choose a character, and then teacher gives them some assignments and students complete and then level up. If we are to make a summary about what we have just covered today, so digital game-based learning, teach problem-solving skills, create, inspire in school subjects, help kids make friends and interact, encourage exercise, let kids share joy of competition, give a chance to lead, provide an opportunity to teach, bring parents and kids together. And there's some warning. Teachers should choose the right game for the age and the students. And games can be addictive, so playing time should be arranged carefully by the parents or by the teachers. There is another, so academic.org. You can go and play a game. So much time just to do this activity, but in your free time, please go to academics.org, choose Grand Prix game, and start to play and reflect it. Teaching, educative, or can it be used in our classes as well? Everybody, thank you so much for your time. That is the last slide of my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you have any question, please. I have a very limited time, I must say that. that because I had a lot of things to give and in a very limited time. Thanks so to with you all and share knowledge and experiences together. Ran,
Yeah, what's in the chat?
took it was almost 10 minutes past my time. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Honestly, it was a really great presentation. To say that it's a presentation that we should all have at the end, and explore all the different tools, because you shared many interesting tools that I suppose everybody would like, to test and try and see how it works. So it will be useful also after the end of the webinar.
Thank you so much, dear Irini. And I just wanted to give them some really suggestions and to write for them, just so there is another world with playing games. And
so from Georgia, if you have any suggestions for upper secondary students?
Yes, I just thought they could use epistemic games.
Okay.
She can find it in our slides when we just share with the participants. So epistemic games could be really best, like soda construction, like Sim School. I cannot remember all the games now because there were a lot of there really, but you can try epistemic games.
Okay. Questions?
So if you can write me an email or on Facebook, I can just set of links for it. Okay? Thank you so much.
We can open a post, a forum, and then you can start trying all the interesting tools that Adil suggested, and you can share your opinion and tell us how you use them and what you suggested and what activities you did with your students. So it will be really interesting to share how we used all these interesting games.
That would be great. That's a great idea, actually.
Great. I can't see any more questions.
Thank you for everything done. You're a great moderator, and I'm following you, I'll keep following you.
Great. Thank you for being here. So I hope I will see some of you before Christmas in our Christmas online party. Don't forget about that.
I'll try to be there too. I even haven't posted my Christmas card, New Year card as well. So we don't have Christmas in Turkey, but we have New Year, so I can send a New Year card anyway. Yes.
I'll come up with some more information about that, and hope to see you all. And thanks again, Adil, and thank you everybody for being here. So we'll share everything, recording and the presentation in the group. And so have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening, dear all, and dear Irini. Thank you.